Did you enjoy your water?
Yes. Much more refreshed. Probably should have gotten more, but that's okay. Oh, there we
So we do see another first ban Naga Siren coming up from Team Happy Times. They just do not want to deal with this float pushing hero.
go.
So
Yeah.
powerful.
Also a Potom ban and a Clockwork ban on the Osiris Gaming. Also the Timber Saw, so they really are not liking those offlaners that kind of counter melee carries, so possibly going to be seeing a very, I guess, core player, like, to draft so much around that, they're definitely looking to pick up a very, I guess, farm-dependent carry that they're going to be able to secure. Possibly we'll see an aggressive tri-lane.
And I did want to mention that the bans are the exact same as last game.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
But yeah, we do see Happy Times with possibly another tri-lane, but they didn't make so good of a use with their Ancient Apparition and their Earthshaker. Let's see if the supports this game are going to be a little bit more active. That Crystal Maiden is definitely really powerful at level 2. Pair that
Oh,
up with the
yeah.
Nyx, and
Definitely. So those definitely very early very early ganks that you can get off. And I
as far as
mean,
the Cyrus scheming goes, are we going to look for a potential Pugna pickup? I mean, they do have a Nature's
I don't
Prophet,
know. They
and
seem to be looking like they're going for another kind of like global strat the way that they're drafting so far.
hmm and I do also want to say Lycan has been very popular lately. We might see him as well. Maybe
Yeah,
Invoker, those summon spirits. I mean, summon
true.
units.
Invoker was banned out last game, not this game so far.
So Team Happy Times banning out the Earthshaker and the Luna, possibly trying to get more single target heroes on the board for Team Osiris. I don't think the way that Team Happy Times are banning, it seems like they can't deal with AoE.
Yeah. Avoiding the AoE. Be interesting to see what exactly they're looking to pick up. And we're probably going to be seeing, yeah, a Nature's Prophet off lane, Ancient Apparition, and Sand King possibly in a tri lane.
Very unorthodox pickup. We don't see too much action coming from Sand King.
And there's the Invoker pickup. I've been seeing a lot of the Quaswex Invoker lately. I mean, just a really good hero for shutting down a lot of mana dependent carries.
And Happy Times, I mean, they do have their share of nukes, especially if Nyx gets his early 6. Or even just with his Impale, pair that up with the Frost, or yeah, the Nova from Crystal Maiden, and Invoker can just do a lot of damage anywhere from the map.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Invoker's really great too, especially Quaswex Invoker, because you have that Tornado to set up a lot of different spells.
And I don't know, the Forge Spirits are definitely going to counter the Treants coming in
Oh.
from Nature's Prophet. Pudge comes into play. This is going to be
Yes!
really
I
fun.
love Pudge games.
We do have nice setup from him with Sand King's Burrow Strike as well as Nature's, what is it, his Sprout. So
Yeah, exactly.
once that Nature's Prophet, I mean, this might actually be a gank heavy Nature's Prophet and not just one where he's just going to have to divert
That is
the
very
creeps to his
possible.
tower.
I feel like we're looking at an offlane Nature's Prophet, and we're probably going to see, I feel like the way that they banned Osiris pick up a melee carry, maybe someone like Void, Spectre, and oh, there's a Bristleback pick. Actually, kind of surprised he hasn't been banned earlier, because we all know how hard it is playing against a Bristleback offlane. That is never fun. Those quills.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to be good to counter Nature's Prophet as well. Those trains, such a limited amount of HP, but also the two squishy supports on Osiris as well. That Sand King, he won't be able to get away with a Sandstorm, especially with that Bristleback's quills.
Not at all.
So that's a really good pickup there. Also synergizes well with Invoker with his Cold Snap.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, we are looking for Osiris to pick up a core hero. Some possible solutions here to counter the Bristleback. I mean, what would you say?
Maybe like a Spectre to kind of diffuse the damage. Maybe they did ban out the PL on the Doom. Um,
Yeah, I definitely would feel it should be a tanky hero, especially late game, and Spectre does sound reasonable here.
yeah, and they did ban out the AM as well, which is what I would have probably suggested. So they're gonna think long and hard about this one.
And Team Happy Times looking to secure an offlane hero for themselves. We still have ET on the board. Don't know how well that's going to be, but against that Pudge.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about Bristleback too. He's very flexible, so we could see him in that tri lane, but we could also see him on the off lane, depending on. Oh, and there's a Morphling pickup. Actually, it would be interesting to see if they're gonna stick the Morphling middle, or I have seen that like pretty. He does a little bit better, I would say, against the Invoker than the Pudge does.
This
But
is very interesting.
I mean,
Yeah.
a support Pudge is a really risky one to run sometimes.
I feel like this is also like from the TI2, TI3 era. We haven't seen these heroes being picked up in such a long time.
Exactly. All right, well, I'll go and introduce the Radiant. So we have Solon on the Crystal Maiden on Team Happy Times. We have Eight Mother on the Lycan. Have High Bubbles on the Nyx again. Reizu is going to be playing mid on the Invoker. And Kefla is going to be lone off lane as the Bristleback.
And then on Team Dire, we did see the Ring of Protection up on Morphling, so he's going to be in this top solo or safe lane. It's going to be Patzel on the Morphling. We've got Panda Q on the Ancient Apparition, Willies to complete the tri lane on the Sand King. Here in the middle, we do see the classic Pudge mid, and classic will be, well, yeah, the classic Pudge, interesting. And Guanzo, as expected, like you said, the Nature's Prophet will be in the off lane. And Pudge did get pulled to Tango, so they do expect that this matchup mid is going to be quite hard for him against Invokers. So
Yeah, definitely. With that right click damage, it's really hard to Pudge to kind of get in there and get some farm.
considering they do have the Sand King and the Nature's Prophet, I mean, if this is a gank heavy Pudge, we can see action, not in the mid lane, but if he rotates quite a bit, it's going to be tough for Invoker, as long as that Pudge stays alive.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, two really strong early game supports here. The Crystal Maiden and the Nyx Assassin are going to be constantly looking to put some pressure on this Pudge. So he really has to play it careful. This is not a safe lane for him whatsoever.
Yeah, and Crystal Maiden did pick up the haste, tried to show some aggression against that Pudge mid, but wasn't able to do anything before haste ran out. Yeah, slow game so far. That Nature's Prophet against Lycan. Lycan did not scale up his wolves yet, so he's going to be taking quite a bit of harass from the treants as well as Nature's Prophet himself.
Definitely. He does have his Stout Shield, which is going to help him a little bit in lane, but I mean, with all this push with the trees as well, it's going to be difficult for him to kind of lane against this Nature's Prophet with the added range.
Yeah, but looking at the last hits, he's actually leading in terms of last hits goes, despite all that harassment versus that one last hit from Furion. That's quite interesting. It is 7-1.
Yeah. Doesn't even have a quelling blade. But I guess that's what his howl is for, and that's going to really help him kind of amass some last hits early.
Yeah, 20 extra damage. Who needs a quelling blade? So here in the top lane, oh, it is a solo bristleback against this tri-lane, but they're not exactly doing too much to phase him out. He's going to go ahead and do some pulling on his own.
Yeah, I think he knows that they're going to just be constantly stacking and pulling this lane, and he can't really get in there to contest or even really leash EXP with the wards that they have up. So he's going to just be looking to try and pull this hard camp here and kind of negate some of the lost EXP that he's getting.
Yeah, and it does seem that with the Lycan and the Invoker in the lineup, we're not going to look to see so much of farming Bristleback. All he really wants are levels at this point. With the early levels, he can have so much survivability in a team fight, and that's exactly what only matters. That way, Lycan and Invoker can do all the damage.
And we can see Pudge is just eating right through all of his regen. He's got one salve left, because that right-click damage, 3 minutes in.
He does have his bottle coming, as late as it may be. He still has it, so that's going to definitely help him out. And yeah, you're right, because Invoker, with that 14 last hits against Pudge's 6, he's definitely starving for farm.
Oh yeah, I mean, a really interesting... I'm not sure exactly what they were trying to do there, as far as like drafting and trying to make sure every lane wins. I know in a Pudge-Invoker matchup, Invoker is supposed to win this lane.
It does seem like the case. Pudge did pop his last salve. I mean, right-click damage does hurt.
Yeah.
And we do see a defensive sentry coming out in the top lane from Team Osiris. I don't exactly know if there was an Obs ward from Bristleback, but he's doing his best.
Yeah, actually there was Obs, I think, right over here. They dewarded.
Oh, we did see a trade coming in mid. Invoker did manage to get first blood on the Pudge. Furion actually trying to TP, but Invoker did die to the tower. So TP wasn't necessary.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to help Pudge out a little bit. He's going to go top and try and get that rune, but it looks like Invoker with his Wex is just going to sprint ahead a little bit quicker. And looks like he really wants to go on the Pudge here. He's got his Cold Snap up. He's got his Tornado.
Oh, and the Nyx to join the fight
Bubbles
as well.
with the stun. Nado's still up. Looks like they're... Oh!
Oh,
that hook just missing.
Yeah, classic. High risk, high reward.
Oh, wow. No, damn.
Invoker picking up a nice level 7 from level 5.
Yeah, that was actually a beautiful rotation by Nyx. I mean, that's going to help the Invoker just completely crush this Pudge in lane. And I mean, Pudge is one of those heroes that you don't want snowballing, so this is exactly what the Radiant wants at this point.
Yeah, and early in the game, I do feel like Pudge can do a lot more snowballing than the Invoker, but Invoker picking up another kill for himself. That was a very late burrow strike coming in from the Sand King.
So, considering he hasn't bought anything, it looks like he's going to go straight into a Midas. I would assume. I mean, Midas debatably is pretty core on Invoker. He's a very level-dependent hero, and picking up that early Midas with this advantage that he got, I think is going to just propel him.
Oh, and that's so true. I mean, he's already in the lead. I feel like the only way to go now is a Midas pickup. He can definitely get away with it.
There's a defensive TP, but not really going to do anything.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of that, but Lycan picking up a nice kill on the Nature's Prophet. Pudge pretty late with his TP as well. But this Nyx doing a lot of good rotations, securing kills for his core carries, I should say.
And we actually have about a 4,000 gold lead on Happy Time, or on EXP lead in Happy Times already. 6 minutes in.
Yeah,
also,
5-1.
over a 3k gold difference. So Happy Times is really just kind of destroying this early game.
And well, Invoker did spend his gold on phase boots with a TP in tow, so I mean, he does still have time for Midas, but let's see if he actually wants to go that route. We see a tornado coming in. The frostbite, perhaps. Nice frostbite, and oh,
Not gonna
Pudge
do
getting
it.
in.
At the same time, what this Invoker might be trying to do as well is just taking this early lead and going some early game items. Just kind of really snowball and help out the other lanes.
Yeah, and for such a mana-dependent hero, I mean, what luck that they did pick up the CM.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That Aura is helping so much. Oh, and here in the bottom lane, despite that early harassment, Nature's Prophet is just completely getting destroyed in terms of farm with 46 last hits on the board for Lycan. He's actually topping the
Yeah.
charts for both teams, and against the 14 last hits from Nature's Prophet, kind of hurts, especially since he does have help from his treants.
And he does pick up his Mask of Death, so that does kind of increase his options. He's very easily able to jungle at this point, going for an early Vlad to try and get that Roshan as quick as possible.
Yeah, we see Bristleback getting caught out of position here in the top lane, but he's going to kill Sand King with his quills. Being tanky as he might, he is going to fall to Morphling. Bristleback actually tried to transition from their enemy jungle towards middle lane. Definitely got caught out of position there for Pudge to help out. He just had to walk up just a little bit.
And there's that early game push. Already
Yeah.
bottom tower down.
The power of Lycan and his wolves. I feel like he's the strongest tower pusher in the game.
Crystal Maiden and Nyx have also smoked bottom, so they're looking to rotate on this middle again. They're really putting a lot of pressure on this Pudge. I mean, his 15 last hits to Invoker's almost 50 last hits now.
Yeah,
Pudge is
and
not getting the EXP lead he needs. And this
Pudge
was
coming in
perfect
with
timing.
the hook, but he did
Perfect
not
timing
expect
by
that
the
rotation. Frostbite up on the Sand King. I don't exactly know if they have detection for him. No, they don't. Vendetta gets popped, but with that sentry down in the middle, don't know if Nyx was able to spot that, but yeah, he's just gonna have to go ahead and pop his Vendetta on a creep.
And looks like the Bristleback is going to be going for an early Vanguard. The Morphling looking to build into his Lincolns later, but that Ring of Health is definitely going to help him out a lot, especially against the Bristleback lane. So he can kind of just stay back and regen all the damage that he's been taking from the quills.
Yeah, I mean, in the last minor team fight he was in, it was basically a 1v4, and he was able to pick off the Sand King all on his own. So the more tank, the more better. That's going to allow so much space and so much farm for his heroes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not liking, especially with that Vlad's pickup so early on in the game. I don't know if they're going to look to push this middle tower. He is situated there with his wolves, but no, he's just going to go back to the jungle.
And as we can see, I mean, this is not looking good for Osiris at this point. Their mid lane has pretty much lost the lane. If we look at the EXP, I mean, Pudge has a 269 EXP per minute versus the Invoker's almost double.
Yeah, and with that Force Staff pickup from the Invoker, once he picks up that Orchid or even a Blink, that Pudge has no chance whatsoever.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that early Force Staff is going to help him out a lot. Definitely for positioning and just dodging any kind of hook that Pudge has the opportunity to throw.
And he did get, I want to say this was his first rune of the game, the regen rune, but I mean, it's not that successful as far as trying to get a gank. I mean, if it was a haste, the hasted Pudge could do so much, but he just hasn't had the luck this game.
Definitely. And it looks like Nature's Prophet is going to just kind of try and go for the Rush Midas, which debatable at this point considering all the early aggression that the Radiant has been putting out. I mean, they really need a response to this push at this point, and Nature's Prophet doesn't have any items to really split push with at this point.
Yeah, and he does have his treants, but we've got the Forge Spirits from the Invoker, as well as the Wolves with Howl on the Lycan. So Lycan has been a huge problem, especially as he has, one kill on the board, but also on top as far as XP with that Invoker.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like it's kind of the same situation as last game. We've got the Sand King and the AA not really doing much as far as rotations go. We see that the Crystal Maiden and the Nyx has been more active and it's working in their favor. But the supports on Team Osiris just not managing to do anything as far as trying to make things happen. They've just been trying to babysit their carries in lane. So
Yeah.
missed hook coming out from Classic, but it's a 3v3 in the top lane right now. Let's see if Bristleback wants to make something happen. We've got Invoker.
And with the lineup that the Dire has, with the Morphling and with the Nature's Prophet, I mean, these are very level dependent heroes that kind of need space to farm. And they really don't have their mid snowballing like I think they wanted. I mean, as far as the draft goes, it looks like they really needed that Pudge to create space for the team by winning his lane and going to gank, but so far it doesn't look like that's happening at all.
Yeah, and he had a very late rotation here, the Pudge. So, but it did help kill a Bristleback off. And I feel like this is a good trade considering he got here pretty late. That Morphling would have died, but his transition into strength, it paid off pretty well before the Pudge got there. But overall, not looking too good for Team Osiris.
This Invoker is just snowballing at this point. This is not looking very good for the Dire. Also picking up a Roshan.
Yeah.
So yeah, the pressure is on.
I mean, this is just working out so well with all these team fights going in favor for Team Happy Times. They've also got the Lycan split pushing, so it's just an added bonus that they're able to take towers down at the same time. But we see a TP coming in here in the top lane from Sand King, and AA does catch... Oh.
Does catch the Nyx. No, it caught the Nyx.
Oh, it did?
But he's just going to TP out with barely any damage taken.
Yeah. In the meantime, Lycan still has his Aegis in tow and did a considerable amount of chip on tier 2, but he's just going to get away safely. And I feel like Lycan can get away with little farm compared to Morphling. I feel like Morphling needs so much farm. And
oh yeah, definitely.
If Team Osiris just lasts till late game, they could possibly work things out, but at this point...
Oh boy.
We'll see. Just
Lycan
remember coming up on
caught out of position.
He does still have his Aegis though, so let's see if his...
Oh, and the haste!
Wow, that shapeshift saving his life. And he's gonna TP out. And I feel like, I don't know, Pudge might have been in range for that hook, but the Nature's Prophet just spawned a bunch of treants in front of him, so he wasn't even able to get a clear hook on him if he tried. That was pretty interesting. So with that distraction from Lycan, Invoker's gonna be able to get this top tower.
Yeah.
The only downside to taking these towers really early is if they don't show any aggression later in the game, Team Osiris can actually come back with the amount of farm that they could get from the safety of their tier 2s, but...
Definitely.
Team Happy Times, I mean, if they just continue this aggression, this will be a very early victory, I would say, for them.
Yeah, they definitely have a more early to mid-game aggressive draft, Team Happy Times, than Team Osiris. They look like they would be a little bit stronger in the late game, and I mean, Happy Times is just putting on the pressure, so it doesn't look like that's going to really happen.
Yeah, and in the mid lane, I mean, this Lycan just doing work. That AA ult did catch too, but they might actually go in for another go. The Wolves about to spawn in 13 seconds, and he still has his Aegis. Gonna go ahead and get the split push build going. He's got his Necronomicon in the stash. Pudge not having very much luck with his hooks, but we see some counter aggression coming in from the Invoker. Nice Tornado EMP on the Nature's Prophet.
And at this point, I mean, they have such a lead, the Team Happy Times, over 12,000 in gold and almost 10k EXP lead. So, I mean, all they really need to do to secure victory at this point is just kind of go together and push down towers slowly, because I don't think they can contest this team fight at this point.
Exactly.
Not with the Invoker snowballed like this, and they're nowhere near close to getting BKBs, so
And Team Happy Times still not ceasing the push. Like, there's nothing Team Osiris can really do. I mean, if they even try to manage a team fight, I feel like it's just gonna it's just gonna make Happy Times take the towers even faster. The team fights just won't work in the Dire's favor at the moment. But nice force staff coming in from the Invoker. Tornado on the Sand King, and they're just getting caught out of position. This Invoker just, he just snowballed
yeah.
so much out of control.
And they have the constant pressure at this point. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Radiant pick up some really aggressive and offensive wards up in the jungle to just completely cut them off their farm and start starving them out at this point. They have the map control. I mean, the Team Osiris doesn't have one tower at this point.
Yeah, and with all the lockdown on Team Happy Times, that Invoker actually bypassed the, what is it, the Silent Stick and went Scythe of Vice. So 17 minutes into the game with those items, oh man.
Yeah, he's got his Scythe, so yeah, there's not very much that the Dire can do with the lineup they have. They don't have a lot of hard stuns. They have the Sand King's Burrow Strike, but I mean, once again, the AA has a really soft stun. It's not reliable.
And even so, I feel like this Invoker pickup is a strong counter to the heroes on Team Osiris. Like, what can the Sand King really do once he burrows in, or once he tries to Sandstorm? He can just get picked up by Invoker's Tornado, but at the same time, same as the Morphling, that Morphling won't be able to TP to his replicate, especially once he's getting locked down and cold snapped. It's just a Team Osiris at this point, they don't have an answer for any of the hero or for Invoker.
Definitely, and I think at this point it is debatably an outdraft as far as the heroes picked. I mean, always making sure like that your lanes are going to win their matchups. I think picking the Pudge and picking that up was probably their biggest mistake on their their part.
And with what you said, I mean, the gold and XP graphs clearly show because they haven't toppled once in favor of Team Osiris. It's just been a steady climb for Team Happy Times, and yeah.
Yeah, when Nature's Prophet has to resort to cliff farming, you know. Oh, trying to snipe this courier, though. Is he going to get it?
Oh, no. But Pudge will die to Nyx in the meantime. Nice AA ult. Catching out 4? Oh, man.
Yeah, that was really good.
And they're going to slightly back out, but with the mech in tow, oh, man. They're just going to go ahead and
no damage taken.
Necronomicon 3 now up on Lycan, and CM with a Necro 1. There's not much they can do to stop this.
There really isn't. And they have so many, I mean, with the Pudge and the Morphling and the Nature's Prophet, single target heroes, the only really burst damage in AoE that they have is the Sand King ult, which they need to rely on very heavily for any type of comeback at this point.
And I haven't seen it at all this game.
There it is.
Now. Yeah.
But once again, not doing a lot of damage.
Too little,
the
too
heroes,
late.
exactly, snowballed so much at this point.
And GG does get called out, so that will be a victory for Team Happy Times. 1-1 so far.
It was much quicker than last game. Happy Times not messing around. They're still in this.
Such a strong pushing lineup, and Team Osiris just had